What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast, where we focus on helping Black women change their lives by discarding negative thoughts, pivoting in the right direction, and shifting their mindset through cultivating a trauma free lifestyle. I'm your host, Courtney Kristen, educator, content creator, life coach, counselor, and mental health enthusiast living in Houston, Texas. I created the Allow Yourself Grace podcast because I wanted to create a space for Black women to share their thoughts, feelings, and stories that make them who they are without fear of judgment. Allow Yourself Grace provides emotional support and encouragement within the Grace Girls community for women in need of non biased opinions from women other than family and friends. Personal development, self care, career, faith are among many of the topics we will discuss on this platform. Allow Yourself Grace podcast is here to encourage Black women to live unapologetically and thrive in being authentically who they are and were designed to be, an entire vibe. No topics are off limits. We will cover it all. Now, grab a notebook, pen, sit back, and enjoy the show. What's up? What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome back to another Allow Yourself Grace episode. So happy to have you guys back on the podcast. Make sure you are following the podcast. Make sure that you're subscribed if you're watching me on YouTube. And also make sure you are following me on IG. It is AYG underscore allow yourself grace. It should be popping up on the screen. And make sure you just show your love, show your support, and share with a family member or a friend. I would love to have them take a listen. Let me know what you think. Also, too, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or however you get your podcast, make sure you leave me a review so that I know how you feel about the podcast. And also, if you have any ideas, any topics, anybody that you would want to see on the podcast, anything that you want to hear me talk about, I will definitely open to that. So leave those comments below. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. So the quote for the day, I'm going to say for the day, for this episode is procrastination is the fear of success. People procrastinate because they are afraid of the success that they know will result if they move ahead now. Because success is heavy, it carries a responsibility with it. It is much easier to procrastinate and live on the someday I'll probably philosophy. Okay? That's the quote of the day. Procrastination is the fear of success. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Because I think that procrastination is something that we all suffer from time to time. But it's when you make it a lifetime habit, that's when it can be to your detriment. Okay? So I procrastinate a lot, right? I procrastinate a lot on different things. You know, most of the time it depends on what it is. And so I took some time to reflect on what is causing me to procrastinate. Like, why am I always putting things off? Like, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And it's just like, when are you going to actually sit down and take the time to do it, Courtney? And so I wanted to talk to you guys about this because this is something that I battle with from time to time. You know, there's times where I'm consistent, I'm going strong, but then there's other times that I'm like, oh, I'll do it later, and then it never gets done. And so I'm making it a point in this month of June to address the issue, okay? I want to stop procrastinating. And when I read this quote, I'm like, oh my God, am I afraid of what comes with being successful? So I never looked at it like that. We can judge ourselves for being comfortable procrastinators, not willing to walk around in discomfort of the unknown and not pushing ourselves. You know what? Sometimes this needs to happen.
This needs to happen where it's like, I need to be uncomfortable in order to get where I'm trying to go. And I think procrastination creates that comfortability. It's like, oh, I'll do it later. You're comfortable, you're chilling, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, but working on the goal that you set or working on the thing that you know you really need to do that you've been putting off. Maybe it's cleaning, maybe it's painting a certain area in your home, maybe it's organizing your closet. Those things, like taking the time to do it instead of putting it off like, oh, I'll get to it next week, or oh, I'll do it later. It's like taking those actionable steps now. um the truth is, some cases the comfort zone works as an anchor or a coping mechanism. This is so true. Like, being in your comfort zone, it gives you that cushion. It's like, oh, I'm good. I'm not really wanting for nothing. I'm not doing bad, but I'm not doing great, but I'm okay. That okay, that in between is the comfortable. Your anchor. It's like, I'm okay. I have money. I may not be the richest, but I have money in my pocket. Or, I may not be the most successful, but I'm not a bum. So these are all things that give us that cushion, those excuses that we use to why we're not getting something done. And, when I got into the part about the coping mechanism, I was just like, oh my God, this is like a real thing. Like, just looking at my own life, looking at some of the people around me, looking at, family members, it's just like, wow, it really is a coping mechanism. It's a way to make yourself feel better. Procrastinating is make yourself feel better. Like, oh, well, I'll get to it. Well, oh, I have a lot on my plate right now. I'll get to it later. And it's just a way to make you feel like it's okay. I'm not the only one. You want somebody to resonate with what you have going on. You want somebody to confirm it. I'm sorry, to affirm your foolery. And it's just like, we know that we should be doing things. We know that there's more that we can do, but instead we put it off. But let me tell you something about time, y'all. Time waits for no one. Like, this time is zooming by. Like, I feel like it was just the beginning of the year not too long ago. Um I feel like we were just in January. And, I was recording, I was going strong. My birthday came. I put out an episode. You guys got the last episode on May 1st. And so we're in the first part of June right now. So it's technically been a month since I've recorded an episode. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take some time for my birthday and then I'll be back. And then, oh, I'll take some time and then I'll be back. And then before I knew it, 3 to 4 weeks has went by. And I'm like, no, it's not that I got to get in the studio, because y'all know I'm in the studio every day because I own a studio. Like, are you kidding me? Why am I not recording? So, just pushing yourself to do it. Just do it, because we spend so much time scrolling on our phone. We spend so much time looking at videos, consuming content. As I was consuming content, and I'm like, if I have time to consume content, then I have time to create content. Like, my husband and I, for instance, like I said, we have a business. We run a studio where people come here to record their podcasts. Yeah, I know. Y'all can kick me. Y'all can put some comments in the bottom and be like, girl, for real. So people come here and record. He's editing their videos sometimes. We also have an editing team that edits the videos. So there's really no excuse on why I should be not creating content. And I'm like, man, what is the problem? It's just me putting it off. Let's be clear. It's me putting it off and making myself feel better. Like, oh, well, somebody else is recording today. I'll record tomorrow. And it's just making all the excuses in the world on why I don't have this thing done. But to get back to what I was saying about my husband and I, we have the studio and we've been saying, hey, we need to record this ad so we can run ads. Because if you know anything about business, you have to market your business in order to get more clientele. So we've been putting off creating an ad. And then I'm like, oh, my hair, oh, this, that. We finally, Saturday, I was like, babe, we need to do it now. Let's do it now before we leave this place today. Let's record this ad. And you know what? It took less than 10 minutes. And it was just like, why haven't we done this already? And so I think it's just pushing yourself to do the things you know you need to do right away. Like immediately when it comes to your mind, it's time to take action. We don't try to escape discomfort because we are lazy, rather because we are overwhelmed by it. As soon as we get overwhelmed, it's like, oh, I'm done. I'll do it later. It's too much right now. And you give up. Like you don't even try to solve the problem, or you don't even try to figure out how I can make this work, how I can make this fit into my schedule. Immediately when that overwhelm hits, we're done with it. We're done with it. And it's not because you're lazy a lot of times. It's just because you don't feel like dealing with it. And it's like you move on to the next thing. Um, we try to create habits that like buffer what we have going on. So instead, it's like, oh, well, I have to take my daughter to practice, or, oh, I have to go over here today and I'll do it later. And we just create habits and we do things to keep us from really achieving those goals. And, I hear so many women blame their children. It's like you put it off on your kids. Oh, well, I have my kids, so I'll maybe in the next 2 years I'll get to it. And it's like a lot of times your kids are not a factor. That's a mental thing for you. It's like, oh, blame my kids. Oh, you don't have kids, you don't understand, or oh, you know how it is when you have kids. Those things are toxic. Those things keep you procrastinating and keep you putting things off. And it's like, even in the Bible, all throughout the Bible, God tells you, like, take action. Do it now. Tomorrow's not promised. I've given you everything you have. You have to seize the day. Like, maximize your time. I've gotten back to making myself checklists. And my husband probably thinks I'm crazy because we have these whiteboards in the office and we have these whiteboards at home. And I'm like, I gotta go to the store because all my dry erase markers are at the office. So I need to go get markers for home, and I need to get this. And he's probably like, you always need something. But it's just like, these are the things that help me stay organized. And I'm realizing more and more, whether he wants to admit it or not, it helps him as well, right? If I have a list of, okay, these are the things we need to get accomplished this week, it's not like, oh, I forgot. Oh, shoot. Remember I told you? Well, I forgot too. So it's kind of like we're blaming each other sometimes. And I'm like, you know what? Let me make this list. And it's gonna be in a universal spot where we both can see it, a place that we both go to every day, and it's there. And so he's like, hey, what do you have on the list? And he looks, and then he's like, okay, cool. And we've knocked out so many things today. Some things I didn't have on the list, but I had knocked out things today. Like I got the things done. I was on the struggle bus because I'm recording his episode at the beginning of the week on a Monday. And I was on the struggle bus this morning because I'm like, okay, I need to get up. I need to get dressed, but something in my body wouldn't get up. So I end up getting up. The alarm went off at 5:45, I think. I got up at 6:05. Get up, then I can't find things. I'm like leaving stuff, trying to make sure I have everything. And so I'm like, I'm not doing this again tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure I have my stuff. But it it slipped my mind because I was doing so much. And I think what happened was we were supposed to do some of the things we did Sunday on Saturday, but Saturday again, here we go back to, oh, we'll do it tomorrow because it started raining on Saturday. And once it started raining, we just stayed in the house. It stopped eventually, but we just stayed in the house and did stuff in the house. But there are some things that we could have done on Saturday that would have helped our day be more not so fully packed on Sunday. And so I say all that to say it's like we put off things when we can take things in chunks and get it done without overwhelming ourselves with, oh, I have too much to do. And then you don't get anything done, or you get a little bit done. Or you just stop. You just stop. You're like, okay, I'll try again later. That's that overwhelm that I'm talking about. That cushion that we use to say, oh, this is why I didn't get it done. The comfort zone can be a place for nourishment, a place of growth, because it allows you to rest and reconnect with yourself. It allows you to reassess. So I'm not saying that it's not okay to be in your comfort zone, but I'm saying don't stay there. Don't stay there because it keeps you stagnant. It keeps you in the same position. It keeps you from growing. And yes, with success comes another level of responsibility, but that's okay because everything that you have been doing throughout your life, everything that you have been doing to work toward a specific goal, helps you create the mindset, helps you create the will, the drive to thrive when you get there. It helps you create that. You're building that along the way. So never be afraid of what comes with accomplishing something because you're going to look at it like, oh man, I'm stepping into a whole nother realm. I'm leaving something that I'm comfortable with behind and I'm moving into something that may be a little harder, but it's okay. It's okay to be in that season. Like every year that you decide you're going to level up, it may get a little more difficult. You may take on a few more tasks. It may get a little tough, but that's okay. But what I've learned about people, especially in this season of my life, what I've learned about people is the minute that it gets hard, we give up. The minute that it doesn't look or seem like what we feel like it should look or seem like or be like, we're like, okay, I'm out, or I'm going to chill on that. Oh, I thought that was for me. That wasn't for me. I've literally there's this person that I was following on social media, and I liked her brand. She had a podcast. She was an entrepreneur. She started off in network marketing, and then she moved into digital marketing. She started doing websites for people, brand shoots, stuff like that. She was a hustler. She was selling clothes at one point. She changed from that. Then she's, like I said, she started doing something else, and then down 7 years later, she's back teaching. Her goal is to go back into the classroom. Um, Something that she left 7 years ago. And when I tell you she moved up in the network marketing game, she wrote a long post and said, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. I just don't feel it. It's not in my heart. I'm going out on my own. Got into something else, did great. Oh, I'm mentoring people now, doing this, I'm doing. Okay, cool. Now we're not doing any of that anymore. We're going back. And I think it's because of the overwhelm, right? People are overwhelmed. Okay? Entrepreneurship's not easy. And so I think the easiest thing, even though she was good at it, it was a hustle and it was a bustle. So I think the easiest thing for her was to go back to her comfort zone, which was being a teacher. And so for 7 years, she was out here on her own. She was thriving, doing great. But I can only imagine it being lonely because that's part of the entrepreneurship journey is lonely. You don't have a lot of friends. Um, you don't know what each day is going to look like because every day is different. There's slow times, there's busy times, it's just different. But I find that people that are what I like to call unstable, what I call unstable, they're unstable. They're kind of like moving around, not really knowing what they want to do. They're searching, they're finding, they're looking for fulfillment. It's because they're really putting off what they really want to do because of something. So it can be kids, it can be somebody saying something to you to kind of distract you from where you really want to go and what you really want to do with your life. And before you know it, 10, 20 years has passed by and you're still saying, oh, well, I wanted to do this, but maybe I'll get to do it this year. And you still haven't done it. um that spirit of putting things off can prevent you from the life that you really want. It can prevent you from accessing the things that God has planned for you because it's like, I'll do it tomorrow. When he's telling you to do it now, do it today. And so sometimes even when you don't feel like it, you just have to get up and do it. You have to get up and do it. So I want to be clear. I'm not telling you not to take a break. I'm not telling you that you can't take time to restore and just reset and rest, right? I'm telling you the issue doesn't lie with pausing, it lies with stopping. When you're stopping, you're not taking any action. It's just like you chilling. You chilling. You chilling and you're watching everybody else live their dreams, fulfill goals, knock them out, be successful, achieve things that you probably could have done 10 times over, but instead you haven't done it because you're like, oh, I'll do it later. Somebody took action now. Somebody took action today. And that's what makes the difference. That's what makes the difference is because they took action and you didn't. You stayed in your comfort zone. It can be troublesome when the lack of awareness perpetuates actions and goals that feed into the necessity of using the comfort zone as an escape, distraction, rather than a place for rest. Then you find yourself stuck in limbo. You're stuck. It's like, whew, I'm in this tough spot. Why? Because I didn't do what I know I need to do 5 years ago. So now I'm in a tough spot. I'm in a tough spot and I don't like it here. Um, my husband and I took a trip to Walmart and as you can tell, we hang out a lot together because I keep talking about my husband and I. Sorry. Um, but anyway, we took a trip to Walmart and we're looking around and people just do not look happy. So I'm asking him, I'm like, do you think people are happy? What's wrong with people? Some of them look like they've eaten a warhead. And he was looking at me. I'm like, you know what a warhead is, right? It's that sour candy, that little hard candy that we used to eat in school. I don't even know why we like that. But in elementary, I used to eat those. And when you first eat it, you make this face like it's sour, but it's like everybody looks like they're like they're stressed, they're upset, they don't really care to, you know, engage in today. Like they're just like, the pressure of life can be heavy. It can be. And the easiest thing that we can do is procrastinate. That's the easy thing. I'll do it later. I'll get to it later. I'll do it tomorrow. No, I'm going to do some of this today. I may not get it all done, but I'm going to do something toward what I said I know I need to do today. Like, I'm going to pick up something, I'm going to straighten up. Like, I may not be able to deep clean today, but today I'm going to sweep. I'm going to make sure the dishes are clean. Like, I'm going to do a little bit at a time. So, when someone tells me they don't have time, you're telling me like you just didn't feel like doing it. And that's okay. But you need to be honest with yourself. I think that's something that we have to grow to do is be honest with ourselves. And when we're honest with ourselves, it's easier to take ownership and it's damn sure easier to take action. It's kind of like, wow, sometimes I literally wear myself out, but that's how I talk to myself. I'm not telling you to talk to yourself like that. I'm like, girl, get your ass up. It's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. You got to move. You got to move. You got to get it done. And then you can rest. You can rest once it's done. Trust me, you're going to rest so much better once it's done. The pressure of having to achieve something obsessively or becoming somebody different without including who you are creates separation between work and play, surviving and enjoying life. Baby, it's going to separate the strong from the weak. I'm telling you, it will. It doesn't lie with pausing. That's not the issue. The issue lies with stopping. If you don't get anything from this episode, hopefully you got that. Don't stop. Don't stop. You can pause, but don't stop. You can take a break, but don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. And there's a difference between perseverance and pushing through. When you're pushing through, you're barely surviving. You're like, whew, I hate today. Like you barely making it. I hate tomorrow. You're barely like, you're on your last leg. But it's something about perseverance that builds a different kind of beast. It builds something different inside of you. It's crazy. It's like you go in a baby and you come out an adult. You come out ready. You come out mature. It's a different mindset. It's a different mindset. And so it creates that separation between I'm ready to go get some work done and I'm ready to play around. It's different. It's two different things. And it also creates where if you want to go play, you don't feel bad about it. You don't have to worry about, oh, if I go out, I'm not going to have this, or oh, I'm not going to do this. You have that balance that you've been looking for. What actions are you taking and where are you going? I want you to ask yourself those questions. What actions are you taking and where are you going? Are you including who you are or are you using yourself? That's a deep question. What actions are you taking and where are you going? Are you including who you are or are you using yourself? What actions are you taking? What's it going to take for you to push yourself to the next level of greatness? What is it going to take for you to tap into who God designed you to be? What is it going to take for you to push even when you don't feel like it? To persevere? Both, okay? Both. There may be a day where you're pushing through and then the next day and the next week you're like, okay, I'm persevering. I got this thing. That means I'm going to accomplish this thing by any means necessary, even if it's uncomfortable. That's perseverance. By any means necessary. Okay? It's going to get done. With the kid, I heard someone say they had to figure out class. And guess what? They went at one time, they had the kids with them. They went at one time. The husband, when she got out of class, the husband went in and she watched the kid. Like, you got to figure it out. We're not going to keep using these kids as excuses. And some of you guys, your kids are older. Like, you're still using them. Okay? So let's not do that because we can find a way to incorporate them into our goals and still get our goals accomplished. Okay? Easier said than done. Easier said than done. I get it. But at the end of the day, time is of the essence. Time is not waiting for any of us. Like, time is moving. Okay? We're going to be in the next year before we know it. And I want you to be able to look back and say, man, I've accomplished this. I've accomplished that. I got this done. My closet is organized. You know, my house is finally done being painted. I lost 10 pounds, you know, the things that matter. Like, I wrote my book, I finished it, you know, it's on the shelf. I am speaking on stages. Like, you're doing the things that you desire to do because you did the work. You know, you didn't put it off. You didn't wait because procrastination has consequences. Procrastination has consequences, and you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later, but you're going to pay. Okay? You're going to pay. You're going to pay. And man, that struggle is real. It's real when you know you're not doing what you need to do. Every day you wake up, every day that God gives you another chance is the day for you to seize the day, to take advantage of the time, to use the time, to think creative thoughts, to take some time to just sit out in the sun and thank God for being able to feel the sun on your face. Somebody's in the hospital and they can't come outside. Like, I think we're so quick to forget the good things. And it can be something simple like having the ability to walk around outside for 5 minutes, to use our limbs, to go to the gym, to work out. Like, we take these things for granted and we're not doing what we know we need to do. So we all know we need to be exercising daily, right? Some of us are not. Why? Because the moment God takes that ability from you, you're like, oh God, please let me have it back. I'll go do anything. Take action now. Like, let's not do that. Let's not even get to that point. Let's do it now. I don't want to be on my deathbed or sick or older saying, I wish I would have. I mean, I could have. I don't want to have the mindset of, oh, if I were you, no, I want to be me. I don't want to be anybody else. I don't want to be saying, if I was this person, no, I'm not you and you're not me. And I don't want to be you. And I'm not going to tell you what to do. I can give you suggestions. But what I hate for someone to tell me is, oh, if I were you, I would. No, you're not me. You're not like me, which is why you don't have what I have. You don't move how I move. You can't do what I do, because we were all designed uniquely and we were all put here for our own purpose and our own reason. And that's why everybody's life looks different. The way we move, the way we talk, everything about us is different. And I need you to serve your purpose, because your purpose is not mine. And if you're not fulfilling your purpose, who gonna do it? You got to get the job done. And procrastinating doesn't get the job done. Okay? You can't reach the people you need to reach through fulfilling your purpose by procrastinating. Okay? Don't put off today don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow. Okay? Don't do that, because it's not promised. You can be somewhere else tomorrow. You don't know. You don't know. No man knows. So the day that you have, which is today, which is right now, get it done. Start on it. Start the journey. And before you know it, it'll be done. But if we keep saying, oh, I'm waiting till this, oh, I'm going to wait till this time, it's never going to get done. And you're going to look back and you're going to have nothing but regrets. And over here, the Grace Girls, we live on grace, and we're not going to have any regrets. We're going to give ourselves grace. And on those days that we don't feel like it, on those days that we're just having a bad day, we're going to give ourselves some grace, and we're going to push through, and we're going to persevere. We're going to do both. Okay? We're going to do both. Okay? Because I don't want you staying in survival mode. Because there's going to be days where you're just surviving. And to me, that's just pushing through. You're just surviving. Like, you're like, okay, I'm at work because I got to be at work and I got to get this money. I don't feel like being here today, but I'm here. Those are those days. But that perseverance is like, I'm on a journey. I'm fulfilling my purpose. And right now it's uncomfortable, but I got to get it done because I can see the end. I can almost see it. I can see the stars. I can see the sun peeping through the clouds. I'm almost there. That's perseverance. When you feel like you want to give up, but you know you got to keep going, because looking back, ain't nothing back there. If I give up, it's nothing down there. If I give up, there's nothing there. What am I giving up for? I got to push through, because I got to see what's at the end. I got to see what I think, what I know is at the end. And once you make up in your mind that the thing that you want is at the end of that journey, you gonna persevere. You gonna get it. You gonna get it done. And on the days you need to push through, you're gonna push through because you know you got to get it done by any means necessary. And the thing that I like to say is losing is not an option. It's not an option for me. Telling me that I can't do something is not an option. But I'm a Taurus. And if you're a Taurus, ladies, I know you can relate. It's like, tell us we can't do something. And that's just women in general, though. Tell us we can't do something, and we're going to do that shit 10 times over. It's going to get done. Okay. Don't tell me I can't do something because what? Who you talking to? Not me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna knock it out the park. Okay, I'm gonna hit a grand slam. And you're like, man, she really did. I did what I said I was gonna do because standing on business for me, I ain't moving. That's what standing on business is for me. I'm not moving till it's done. I'm gonna keep this goal until it's accomplished. It's not gonna get erased off my board. It's not gonna be like, oh, I changed my mind. I'm not doing that no more. It's gonna stay there because if it's something that's purposeful and it's something that aligns with my vision and the plan that I know God has for my life, I don't know everything. Okay. I don't know everything. So I do want to be clear about that. But I know the vision he gave me. And it may not look like exactly what I envisioned, but I know it's going to be something centered around it. Then I know I got to get there. I got to get there. And the thing to push you the most is just that when you know you don't have anybody to depend on but you, like you don't have anybody else, because everybody don't have a family behind them. Everybody don't have that support system behind them. um Sometimes it's just you and your spouse, and sometimes it may just be you, and it can feel real lonely. But it's okay. I'm going to lean not to my own understanding. I'm going to lean on God. I'm going to lean on him for strength. I'm going to lean on him for everything that I need because I know he has it, and I'm ready for the overflow. Because I know as long as I persevere, those things are going to come to pass for me. It's going to work out for me. It doesn't have a choice but to work out for me. Everything always works out. I want you to know that it always works out. It may seem bad. It may seem like it's the worst time in your life ever. You may be at the bottom right now, but trust me, it always works out. Everything works itself out. And one thing about God's favor, baby, it's not fair. It's not fair, but you got to fight and you got to push through and you have to get in your word. And that's something I'm getting back to is just daily reading my word and studying it for myself. You can go to church all day because some of y'all are knocking the church doors down, and that's great. I'm not knocking you for that, but you have to know that Bible. You have to know those scriptures. You have to know it for yourself. You have to walk it. You have to talk it. You have to live it. It's a lifestyle. It's not just going through those doors. And making sure that you're getting what you need from God and you're sitting with him on your own. And those are things that most churches don't teach. I'm not saying all, most they don't teach. And if you didn't grow up with it, you may not have it, but pray and ask God for it because it's the most powerful thing that you can have. All right. Guys, this wraps up this episode. It went longer than what I expected, but I also thank God for just taking over and coming into the room. I love when he does that. He always takes it in the way that he wants it to go. And so I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got something from this episode. Rewind it, take notes. I always try to bring what he puts on my heart to you. And I also try to bring things that I'm dealing with in real time. So I hope you appreciate that. I hope you loved it. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. And also, again, make sure that you're following me on Instagram and you're also following me on all podcast platforms. And share with a friend. I love you, ladies. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Well, guys, that concludes our episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. For additional information about today's episode, please click the link in the show notes below. To learn more about our Grace Girls community and other resources we have to offer, head over to www.allowyourselfgrace.com. Until next time, Grace Girls, I love you all. Be blessed and continue to strive for success.